Oh, that's nice. Well, I just thought I'd make a quick video. Just to let you know what's coming up, because we're at the end of November now, and I'm going to have a busy December by the sound of things. 3 points really. First of all, I've been contacted by a shop in Barnsley called Brew at Home. They have a website, it's called brewathome.shop. It's a really good website actually, not just for beer, but they do grain, they do ciders, they do wine kits, they do distilling kits. Really good website, and they contacted me and said, can I give them a shout out, and in return they'll send me a kit. It's a Muntons kit. It's the Peach IPA, one of the Muntons Taproom series, which I've never tried. And I said, sure, you know, I want to help support homebrewing community. So they're going to send me this kit. It's a 1-can kit. And what I thought of doing is combining the unboxing and me actually putting it all together and brewing it in one video. So hopefully I'll get it this week or next week. It's only in Barnsley, it's very close. It's about, as the crow flies, it's about 40 miles. It's on the other side of the Pennine, but you know, you can't all be as lucky as me. It's in South Yorkshire. So it's about 40-50 miles as the crow flies. That's about 70k. A little bit longer by road, of course. So it shouldn't take too long to get here. And then in the next week or two, I'll put the video up of me unboxing it and brewing it. So that's great. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. brewathome.shop. The second point is the Pilsner. I took a gravity reading yesterday. That's Sunday. Today's Monday for me. I've got a day off work, and it's 10:10. So it's finished fermenting. It's been 7-8 days now in the fermenter, and let me tell you, it tastes really nice. It tastes just like a good Pilsner should. It's got sweet biscuity malts up front, but it quickly moves into this nice dryness and then a bitterness, a crispness and a bitterness at the back end. A little bit of that hop is coming through, a bit of grassiness, some lemon. It really is just better than I expected for a first attempt. So I'm actually going to add a bit of finings to it, leave it a few more days, and then I'm going to bottle so that not this weekend coming but the weekend after we could have a sneaky first taste test. I'm looking forward to that. But what I've decided to do is actually make a big batch of it, 23 litres. But what I'm going to do this time is use, instead of the Brews Pilsner malt, which can be expensive, I was looking yesterday online and it was like 11 or 12 pounds just for 1.5 kilogram. So what I'm doing is I'm replacing that, because I'm going to need double the amount, with Muntons Extra Light malt extract. So it's still liquid, but I think they were £7 or £8 for 1.5 kilograms. So that's a huge saving. And I was thinking, as this is the first recipe in the book, you know, try and save people a little bit of money. So I'm going to be brewing probably this week. I don't think I'll film it. You've seen me brew. It's just the same as the last one. I'm just scaling up. I'm hopefully going to be brewing that this week. I should get the ingredients tomorrow. Usually the site I go to, you know, it's 24 hours delivery, and then I'll brew it, and that means then by the end of December we should be able to do a taste test of that and just see if there is a big difference using Extra Light malt extract and the Brews Pilsner malt extract. So that'll be interesting. If there's no big difference, I'll just keep it as Extra Light in the book. So that's coming up. And then also in December, finally, I want to start now getting a lot more recipes together, because I'm happy with that Pilsner. I think, you know, it was like beginner's luck. So I don't think I need to tweak it. So what I'm thinking of doing now is collating a few more recipes together and start brewing them in December, especially the second half, because I finish work on the 16th of December and I've got 2 weeks off. So start making some of these small batch brews for the book to test the recipes. One I am interested in brewing is a mild, because you don't see many milds today. It used to be, for a very long time, England's most popular beer, but now you don't hear about it at all. And when you do, they tend not to use the word mild. Some microbreweries and small breweries, they will maybe have a mild, but they'll tend to call it something like a dark ale or a black ale. And that's because of the stigma that's attached to mild. I've been reading a very interesting book. It's called Amber Gold Black, and it's written by Martin Cornell, who's a UK beer historian. And he goes through all the different beer styles over about 300 years, how they were created, how they developed. Really interesting book. He also wrote another one, Beer, the Story of the Pint, but that goes right back to Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt and shows you how beer developed over the millennia. This one just looks at English beer styles, and when it comes to mild, it never actually was a style. And so although we think of mild today as being a sweet, dark beer with some roastiness just to balance the sweetness, that was actually a London mild. If you came up north where I live, mild was actually a pale ale. It was a pale coloured beer. What it actually meant when they said mild was fresh. So it literally went from the fermenter into a cask and straight away went out to the brewery, to the pub from the brewery, and the pub would start pulling it straight away. So it was a very fresh beer, and it was cloudy because it hadn't sat and it wasn't conditioned. Bitters were conditioned. So the brewery would actually, or the pub landlord would keep the casks for several weeks before they started to pull them. So it conditioned in the barrel, and that's why bitters cost more than milds. So bitters were seen as like a middle class drink, whereas mild, being cheaper, was the working class drink, and it never really got rid of that stigma. So after the Second World War, when, you know, there was aspirational times, people wanted to get on with their lives again, and they started to aspire, they started to shift away from what was seen as the working man's drink, and they started moving more towards bitter, and bitter became the dominant beer style in the UK up until about the mid to late 70s, 80s, when lager took over. But I thought that was a really interesting history, and I thought it was interesting how northern milds were pale, and I thought, I wonder if I can recreate one. So I'm going to do a bit of research, dig around some recipes, see if I can find a recipe for a northern mild, and use that recipe in the book as opposed to the milds that we think of today, because it's just something different. And of course there'll be a lot of other beer styles as well. There'll be some using New World hops, there'll be American style beers there as well. But I wanted to include a little bit of a traditional English beer, so the mild as well as a bitter is going to be included. Right, well that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Take a look at the website, brewathome.shop. It is a really good website. I never heard of them before, but I think I will be ordering from them. It's really nicely laid out, and it's got everything you can need from equipment and accessories, all grain, malt extracts, liquid and dry malt extracts, beer kits, you know, from the big brands like your Coopers, your Youngs, things like that, Muntons. So yeah, take a look at the website, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.